Hello, welcome back to another video lesson in astrology. In this video, I'm going to talk about Mars in the ninth house. To use this information, you require two charts. The first one is, of course, the basic chart, the Rasi chart, and the next one is the Bhava chart. From the Rasi chart, you get to know whether Mars is in its own sign or exalted, deep exaltation, which is Capricorn 28 degrees, or deep debilitation, which is 28 degrees Cancer. Whether Mars is in its Mula Trikona, which is the first 12 degrees of Aries. Whether Mars occupies the sign of its friends, and the friends of Mars are the Moon, Jupiter, and the Sun. And whether Mars occupies the sign of its enemy, Mercury. There are two signs for Mercury, and that is Mars in Gemini or Mars in Virgo. Mars is not comfortable being in these two signs because Mars is the red planet and it hates to be in the green. And the green signs are Gemini and Virgo. Also, if you want to know whether Mars is with malefics like Rahu or Ketu or Saturn, all this is to be known only from the Rasi chart. Even aspects, conjunctions, everything is to be known only from the Rasi chart. Then what is the Bhava chart or the Chalit chart to be used for? The Bhava chart or the Chalit chart is just used to know which house Mars is in. That's it. Beyond that, there is no other use of the Bhava chart. I hope I have made this very clear, and so let's move on to the green board. And in this example, we have used Makara Lagna or Capricorn ascendant. That's why you see the ascendant over here. And in this chart, I have done something quite different from what I've been doing before. Is that you see here some brighter, you can see the signs very well. That's because Mars in this house is exalted and Mars here is debilitated, and Mars own houses are these two, Aries and Scorpio. So now you look at Mars in this horoscope is in the ninth house. But there are several ways that Mars can be in the ninth house, and that makes all the difference. So you see that, for example, this is one situation, whereas you could have ascendant here and Mars here. So this is another example of Mars being in the ninth house. There's a huge difference between the two. In the earlier one, I had placed Mars in its arch rival's house. But before going into all this, we should know some basis of the ninth house and the qualities of Mars. Mars is basically a warrior planet, a planet of war, and has a lot of fighting qualities in it, a lot of violence in it, and also the possibility of getting very physical, which somehow doesn't match well with the ninth house matters, because ninth house is about um, the nature of gurus, which you can easily understand by looking at the natural zodiac horoscope, which is called Kala Purusha. And here Kala Purusha has its Lagna always here in the first house is always Aries or Mesha Lagna. So here you see that Mars sits in house of Jupiter, and therefore Mars in the ninth has got lots to do with Jupiter and the ninth house. So the ninth house is house of Dharma, teacher, father, all those who might teach you, and so naturally you should expect some clash between the, uh, the the nature of Mars versus the ninth house. So that's the reason why Brihad Jataka, that is written by Sri Varamira, you find that Varamira says that Mars in the ninth may make a person very sinful. The reason is the person may not tend to listen to dharmic values, principles. Uh, let's break the rules. This is what such a person might tell you. I don't want to listen to a teacher, all this is, I'll not listen to my father. And Faladipika also says something about it. The native will not enjoy happiness from the side of his father, but there's no mention about early death of father. And Saravali, which is another famous astrological classical textbook, says that the native will be mean, violent, irreligious, sinful, but he will be uh, a favorite of the king. Even Faladipika says the same thing. The reason might be that the kings might like people who, in those days, because there was a lot of war, they might like people who are more violent in nature and maybe don't follow the rules of war all the time just to win the war. Then there is a possibility that the king might like such a person. So Sage Bhrigu says Pitrarishtam. Pitrarishtam is translated as the native will suffer the loss of father in his early life. But Arishta is danger to father, but not all the time there could be the death of father, because the father's horoscope might actually show long life, in which case the person might actually only get separated from the father. We have seen this very frequently. Arishta actually means sometimes fatal also, something to do with lifespan, but it also means some problem. Some problems are there or hindrances there between the person and the father. The next word Sage Bhrigu says is Bhagyahina, shortage of luck. But the translator says he will be unfortunate and no prosperity. Bhagyahina is again another word which says that there is diminishing or less of luck. Does not mean that the person will have no luck. Ucha Swakshetre Guru Daragaha. Now, what does this mean? So let's change the ascendant to Rishabha, Taurus, and then shift Mars to Capricorn. So now you have Mars exalted, but we need to renumber the houses. So here it is. So now Mars is in the ninth house. This is what Sage Bhrigu is discussing in the second line. Uchchasva Kshetre Guru Daragaha. Translates as if Mars is exalted in Capricorn or be in his own sign, Aries or Scorpio, the native will have illicit relationship with the wife of his guru, teacher. The person who does this will have a lot of problem with his luck, either in this life or in the next life. Maybe in the past life, the person might have done the same sin. The native might have had a relationship with the spouse of his preceptor, the guru. As I told you in the beginning, that there are just two lines of sloka for Mars in the ninth house. On the lighter side, I may say that maybe Sage Bhrigu never liked Mars in the ninth house because it was against Guru. So he wrote few things about it. In my 30 years career, I have always seen that if Mars is in the ninth house, it's not just about death of father or going away from father. I've seen the person always speaking against his own religion, or maybe he says, I don't like to go to temples. That's because God is everywhere and there's no need to go to temples. In case the person tells me this, I ask the person, suppose you want to watch a movie, where would you watch it? On your mobile phone? No, I would watch it only in the theater. That's the best way to watch the movie. Then I tell him that in the same way, the best way to pray to God is the place of worship. There's a specific place for everything. And I also seen people speak against their own religion, against their own father. And Hindus, having Mars in the ninth house, I've always seen that they rarely they might not do the Pitru Tarpanam, which is the ritual connected to the worship of the forefathers. We have come to the end of this video. In case you have any doubts, please type them out in the comment section. And whenever I find the time, I'll answer them for you. And see you soon in my next video.